So thank you, Judith. Thank you, Kira and the DC Bar Foundation for this incredible honor and for sponsoring this award recognizing public service in the first place. And I'm very much looking forward to the video. So I'm one of those introverted lawyers. We do exist. So this is this is a dream for me right now, but also a nightmare. So I hope I get through the remarks without melting or crying or overeating. So I'm so very humbled to be in the same company of previous Jerrold Scoutt Prize recipients, including my colleague Diane Weinroth, Beth Mellon, Aaron Louvier, Jonathan Smith, Paula, who's been shouted out many times tonight. I really shouldn't be standing up here alone. I should be joined by all my amazing colleagues over the years who have made possible the accomplishments that you would have heard about in the video that you talked about. Ultimately, the award is truly about our client community and the thousands of DC children and families who have needed and will need access to justice. And so often our days as lawyers get caught up in the paperwork, the filings, the court hearings, moving from one case, one client to the next. But my work at Children's Law Center, and before that, Legal Aid Bureau of Maryland and Georgetown Law School's Immigration Clinic has always been about the people. I'm so touched that Slobodan shared his experience working with me. He started talking about it, and it's just such a walk down memory lane. But I've talked with him since, and he's talked to me about how that legal decision has changed his life. But getting to know him and reconnecting with him all these years later was an opportunity to tell him how our work together changed my life as well. And the experience representing Slobodan at the Georgetown Clinic solidified for me that I wanted to do the kind of work where I knew I could make an impact on a person's life. And today, Slobodan's working in the medical field, which feels like a really cool full circle moment. What many don't know is that I actually wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pediatrician. In fact, my husband, who's here, sometimes calls me Dr. Goodman because I enjoy diagnosing myself and others around me with various conditions. But after my Maryland legal aid position, I was living in Brazil for 3 years, and I was looking for DC jobs before I moved back here. And my heart jumped out when I saw this unique job at Children's Law Center, a lawyer who would work in hospitals and health clinics, and it really felt like it was my calling. It turned out to be the right choice. 3 months after that interview that Judith talked about, I was setting up my office in the same suite as the Children's National Hospital's WIC clinic, across the hall from the primary care clinic, and down the hall from the emergency room. And 20 years later, I still get to be part of the amazing medical world, working closely with now nationally recognized pediatricians like Dr. Nathaniel Beers and Dr. Lee Beers, creating partnerships with Mary Center, Unity Healthcare, Children's National, meeting other medical legal partners around the country who share their innovative ideas that we work to replicate. I also get to work with lawyers, many of them are here tonight, who wake up every day committed to helping parents, caregivers, and kids overcome incredible burdens. Our work started with a focus on special education advocacy and has since grown to healthy housing, public benefits, healthcare access. The first mom I worked with at Children's Law Center was trying to get her son, who was in a wheelchair, onto his school bus. But there was no ramp and only a muddy trail between their house and the sidewalk. Well, following our advocacy, a walkway was built outside the home, and the young boy, Sean, could get to his bus and his school. And the relief and happiness that the mom felt made it so clear how much this work matters, that our direct, hands-on support for our neighbors is meaningful and can be life-changing. And for me, it's our shared humanity, our connection, and our relationships with each other that make it so worthwhile. In doing this work, you see how interconnected all these legal, medical, and social issues are with one another. Accessible walkways and housing is tied to a child's access to education. A child being able to go to school and learn and grow and feel safe means that mom or dad can get or keep their jobs. Mold in homes can seriously impact a child's health, and all of it is tied to basic fairness and access to justice. And as a parent, I feel the importance of the work I do so much more deeply I see firsthand how these education and health challenges can completely derail a day, a week, a month, or a year. And so much of what we're doing is combating longstanding health disparities, which are much worse in our lower income wards and zip codes. Structural racism and poverty continue to create situations where our neighbors rely on our legal expertise to overcome barriers. And making lasting progress requires us all to keep working together to make a positive impact in communities across our city. I'm so proud that Healthy Together has reached thousands of families in the district and helped them to know and exercise their legal rights and enjoy the dignity they deserve. But I also know that for every case we win, there are moments of heartbreak and loss. And that's where the support and inspiration I draw from LaShonda and Evan and Kathy and Jen and Rebecca and Nancy and so many others has been so critical, or with Vivek Sankaran or other former colleagues who are now changing lives of children and families from coast to coast. We all come together to help lift each other up when the outcome isn't what the child needed or family wanted, to share ideas, to learn together. And this legal services community is so special. We always need more tenacious lawyers and investigators, but I know that this work is not always possible for everyone. I was fortunate to be an early loan repayment assistance program recipient. As a first-generation college student, this program is so vital for people like me who want to do this work but need the financial support to do so. So these investments really matter. It enables programs like mine to thrive and more people to do this important work. Thank you again to the entire DC Bar Foundation for your support to allow us to do this work on behalf of DC residents. Of course, I wouldn't be up here today if it weren't for Judith taking a chance on me way back then. So thank you, Judith, for your leadership and friendship. And last but absolutely not least, thank you to my mom, my dad, who passed away in July. He would have loved to have been here and he would never have stopped talking about it. To my husband, Mark, and to my children, Eva, May, and Tommy, who have always supported me in this journey. So thank you all.